Hello Stampers! Welcome to Live It Let Stamp, to this week's Facebook Live. Today we're doing some simple stamping, stamps, ink, and paper to make this beautiful lavender card that you could just make for any occasion. This one happens to be for Mother's Day. So often I like to go right to that DSP and let it do the heavy lifting, but this stamp set is so beautiful that you can just stamp your own paper and just make it absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna start with, I'm gonna cut my card base. I'm using Highland Heather, and this is gonna be a standard A2 card. So I'll cut it at 5.5 and get this out of the way, score it at 4.25. So that'll be our card base. And that's all the cutting we're going to do today. Oh, except for the white panel, sorry. Let's see, so I did that a little wonky. So I'm going to get my bone folder and kind of coax it to be a little more over. Okay, there's our card base. Flatter. Okay, now let's do the stamping. So I have some basic white, and I'm going to start by stamping the sentiment. Now I don't need the foam mat because the stamp I'm using is a rubber stamp, the red rubber. So I don't really need this, but I find it's still nice to have because it makes a nice clean stamp. So I got the sentiment from the Perennial Postage, which comes in the suite if you buy the Perennial Lavender suite. I love this because it has Mother's Day, thank you, you are loved, here for you, thanks for your friendship, just a lot of really nice sentiments, and I love the fonts that they use and kind of mix them up. So I'm going to be doing the Mother's Day one today. Because this isn't a clear stamp, and because we put our own labels on them, they're not always exactly straight with what the stamp says. So to kind of get it straight, I kind of just eyeballed it and made it level with this edge of the stamping block so that it looked like it was parallel to this and perpendicular to this side. I'm going to use my VersaFine black stamp. You could certainly do this in a coordinating Highland Heather or Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to put it right about there. And if you don't like it, you can always do it again. But I would start with the sentiment in case you don't like how it came out. Before you do all of the stamping work around it, I highly recommend doing that piece first. So next we're going to move on, and we're going to stamp this like tall grass and these little purple flowers. So I'm using Garden Green today and Highland Heather. Those are the only two stamp sets that I'm going to use besides the black, of course. And you could have done the sentiment in the purple or even the green if you don't have the black. So let's take a look at this Painted Lavender. I'm going to be using this one for the grass. Also going to be using this one to put those tiny purple flowers. We'll be using this stem and these two stamps as well to do the tall lavender spray. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take those all out and get those ready to go. Put them off to the side. The stem. So we're using 5 of these stamps today. So I'm going to take my Garden Green, and I'm going to be stamping off. And what that means is I don't want it to be a really dark green. So I'm going to stamp off I'm going to make sure you can see that. I could certainly do it on my background paper, but I'm going to need this anyway so I don't stamp on my foam mat. So I'm just going to put, a piece of copy paper under it. So I'm going to get my green, I'm going to stamp off, and then stamp with the ink that's left, and it just gives me a little bit of a lighter shade of green. I'm going to do that all the way across the bottom of my card. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to the purple. This is Highland Heather. It's a really pretty lavender, and I'm going to, you see it looks like 2 shades of purple there. That's because I'm going to stamp off on the larger one and use it directly from the stamp pad for the inner piece. Kind of gives it that 3D look that's really pretty. So this is the stamp I'm going to use for the background of the lavender. And this is stamped off because you want it to be lighter. And it's gonna go right about here. And then I'm gonna do another one a little bit lower. Right there. And I'm gonna do one on this side. This one's gonna go off the page a little bit. Oh no, look what I did. You know what caused that? That extra ink there that I got on it. Oh, that is a real bummer. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a quick start over. Quick start over. Sorry about that. The wonders of going live. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our Mother's Day stamp. Get that lined up. That about there. So, the teacher and me. So to review, we stamped the Mother's Day stamp first. And now we're going to go and do the grass using the stamping off technique. Where's my block? There's my block. Clean that block on my Stampin' Jammy. Okay. I make a ton of these cards every day, and you see I still make mistakes. Gotta be real careful when you're stamping sometimes. Okay. And now our lavender. And we're back. So back to my tall lavender. I'm gonna be very careful when I ink it up this time. Very careful. Stamp off. Stamp on. Again, stamp off, a little bit lower this time, and then one over here that's going to slightly go off the page. There we are. Next, I'm going to take this inside piece of the lavender, and I like to turn it sideways for this one so I can, I don't know, holding it horizontal just makes more sense to me for some reason. And we're going to put that right in there. Right there. And the last one right over here. Okay. Now I'm going to use this tiny little spray of flowers to put a few flowers along the tall grasses, kind of like wild, give it a wild flower look. I have a tiny block I can use for this. I'm not going to stamp off on these. And I'm just going to pick a few places. Okay, kind of looking. This spot looks a little bit bare. I have some down there. All right. Now all I need to add are my stems for the tall flowers. So I have my green, and I'm using this stem from the set. I'm going to stamp off because I don't want it to just like be too bright. Stem 1, stamp off, stem 2. You see why you need that piece of paper down there, because this is a long stem. Nope, stamp off. Almost didn't stamp off. And there it is. It is done. Stamps, ink, and paper. So all that's left is to go ahead and put it on our card base. Again, this is the Highland Heather. So that's the great thing about Stampin' Up, if you're new to Stampin' Up, is still trying to make this a little more even. How easy it is to coordinate things. So if you go into, you know, the big box stores like Walmart or Michael's even, you know, you can buy stamps, you can buy ink, you can buy paper, but it's no guarantee it's all going to actually match. So that's what's so awesome about going with Stampin' Up, is you know that those purples are going to exactly match and be perfect. So I'm going to just use regular glue on this. This is the Tombow liquid glue, a brand new bottle. Okay. Don't need a whole lot. Just have a little bit in the middle there. Okay. By the way, this white panel is cut to 5 1/4 by 4. Using liquid glue allows you to move it a little. That looks great. So for the model card, I used these purple fine shimmer gems that are in the new mini catalog, and I used this shade. Also comes in darker shades. But also have some brushed brass butterflies. Say that 3 times fast. So I thought I might see how it looks with butterflies. Get my tool here. So I think we'll have a butterfly. Should we have them like right on the flower? That's one of the large butterflies. And maybe we'll have one flying away. Then maybe off in the distance, get that perspective. Might have one up here. Or maybe down here. I like the triangle. Cool. So, what do you think? Do you like the gems or do you like the butterflies best? I think they're both really pretty. But let me know what you think. Let me know which one you like best. Again, this was Stamps, Ink, and Paper using Painted Lavender and a sentiment from Perennial Postage. And I hope you enjoy. Oh, I wanted to show you the inside. The inside I did the same technique, but I just put one single stalk and then left this open for the sentiment to be handwritten. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great, great rest of your day.